Evening, everybody. What's going on? For those of you who don't follow me on Twitter, I couldn't resist but doing a video about this just to show these off. I'd talked a few weeks ago, I don't know, probably 3 weeks ago now. I posted some stuff on Twitter about some international comics that a local Greg Harder, who has a spot at Mulvey Flea Market, one of the flea markets in town, associated with Comic World back in the day. I've talked about him before, possibly on this channel, where he was in an episode of Anti-Gravity Room, which was a Canadian show. I know it's played in the States as well too. Was it a YTV show? There was some people associated with Much Music that were on that show as well, and they had an episode where they were talking about maybe it wasn't the collector's episode. I don't remember exactly what the rest of the episode was, but they talk about a large stock of comic books in Winnipeg, and they come to town, and the person they interview is Greg. And kind of just talks a little bit about the comics that they had at Comic World. Sorry, I'm doing this stuff as we're chatting here. There we go. I think that's working. So there was a posting on Winnipeg Comic Addicts, and Greg Gurr, I think, he had posted that anybody interested in some foreign comics, go and see Greg Harder. He's got a bunch. He posted a couple of teaser type of photos. I went down that afternoon, and he had 3 boxes of them, I think. He hadn't priced any of them. He hadn't really started to look through them. They were new acquisitions. So I said, when you start pricing these stuff, I'd sent you an email already. When you start pricing them, please let me know. I'd love to come down, and I definitely want to come back and pick up some. There was a couple of things that I was interested in, kind of told him. Hung out there. I probably hung out there for a little while and chatted with him. It's always the way it goes with some of these guys. You hang out and you just get talking about stuff. So finally, I kind of clued into it again just the other day and sent him an email just to say, hey, did you ever get a chance to price all that stuff? He's like, yes, I did. Come on down to the booth. He has a lot of customers that live outside of Winnipeg, and he does a lot of mail ordering. He's got a lot of want lists from people. So unfortunately, most of the stuff was gone. Specifically, the Mexican or horror little digests. They're smaller than kind of the Archie digest, a lot thinner, but even tinier than that too. And they were incredible. I'm glad I took some photos. There were some amazing covers of those. So most of that stuff was gone. He still had some Phantoma stuff, and then he had a bunch of other things. So I just kind of looked through. Everything was absolutely reasonably priced. Most of it is in pretty rough shape, but I think when I kind of picked my stack, he ended up knocking another $10 off. So I got these for dirt cheap, $1 or $2 a piece, and that's exactly the price range I wanted for this stuff, because most of it I can't read. So I just sat tonight flipping through, and I posted some more photos as well up on Twitter. But I figured I'd do a video as well just to show these off for those of you who either aren't on social media, period, or who may not be following me on Twitter, or just don't check in that often, just to kind of set these books in stone here on the YouTube. But before I do that, another thing that popped up on my radar, I do general kind of searches through the Facebook Marketplace now and again. Nothing specific, just kind of scroll through the top listings, that sort of thing. this popped up there, and it's actually a guy at Mulvey, at Thirsty's Flea Market, rather, just down the road from me. It's one of the Daredevils that I need. It's issue number 16. He had it priced at 10, but ended up knocking off a few more bucks for me. The cover is completely detached, both the front and the back. The rest of it is in great shape. Other than that, it's complete. There's nothing missing out of it. So this now gives me from issue 9 all the way to 110. So now I'm missing 111. I think I'm missing 11 issues total. 1 to 8, 111, 137, and 168, I believe, are the ones that I'm missing. So this is pretty great. I flipped through this, and the rest of it is in great shape. There's nothing wrong with it whatsoever. So that's very exciting to knock another one off the Daredevil list. My son and I are still reading Defenders. We just finished issue number 8, and a couple of things that popped out from this issue is the amount of references to other series. In this, there was a reference to an earlier Thor issue. There was a reference to an earlier Avengers. There was a reference to Marvel Premiere. There was a reference to Submariner. And then there was references to earlier Defenders, of course, but everything in the little text box of see Thor number 107, see Avengers number 110 or whatever, you know. And then at the end of it, so we have kind of the part 2 of the story finished off in here from previous issue, and then we get a taste of what's coming. So we get one small chapter. Chapters 2 and 3 will appear in Avengers number 116, and then 4 and 5 will appear in Defenders number 9. So even then, they were doing that kind of stuff, and it just kind of sunk in. Not only that stuff, but also how well Marvel did with the movies, tying everything together, and it's come from a place, you know, and that's one of the things that I do sort of enjoy. I do kind of enjoy some of these references to other issues. So I have the call out. I actually, out of the Avengers books that I do have, which isn't a lot, I don't have issue 116. I have issue 118, so I 2 away. So I put a call out to the Winnipeg Comic Addicts to see if anybody has a copy for sale so we can keep reading. This was a pretty fun issue all around. We're enjoying this. It's not, I don't think it's blowing either of us away, but it's a fun read, you know. There's been some real hit issues, and the art is just phenomenal. And I mean, again, it's Doctor Strange. For me, it's all about Doctor Strange. The rest of the characters are fantastic too, but it's really about Doctor Strange, this book, for me. So that's been a fun read. So the first thing that we'll show off here, 2 kind of UK reprints. So there's a piece missing in this, but there's Captain America reprints with Kirby art, The Origin of the Red Skull. So this is Uncanny Tales, Strange Suspense Stories, Uncanny Tales. I believe both Rasa and Dr. Monkeybot have shown these kind of UK reprints off in the past. This one is, I think it's this one. Yeah, very unique reproduction. Actually, no, the other one has the different quality to it. So there's the Captain America there. Not bad. This one actually isn't bad for the black and white reprinting. It looks fairly crisp. I'll show you the other one. So this will be a hell of a lot of fun. There we go, Red Skull and Hitler side by side. Just in case you were confused. Yeah, the cover is detached on this one. But these are really fun books, especially when you get to read these kind of appearances and pay next to nothing for it. So that's a great one. I tried to do a sampling. He had out of what he had left, there was a lot of uh, kind of Donald Duck, Disney type of reprints. He had a few more UK reprints. I think he had some Hong Kong comics that were actually in English on the inside. Uh, I tried to take a sampling from a few different places, but there was quite a bit that I just wasn't as interested in. I'm not really interested in just getting like a foreign language Looney Tunes comic. I want the stuff that you can't see anywhere else. But that said, I did have to pick this up, these two issues up, just to get a sampling. So this one, the black and white reprinting in here, I don't know if it's just because it's faded over time. I don't know how well that's picking up over the camera, but in person, it looks almost like they made stamps of each of the pages and stamped, especially when you're looking at the blacks like that, where it has those missing spots. And honestly, I kind of like that reprinting quality of it that looks just faded and almost gone. You can almost feel the ink sitting on the page. Um, Pretty great, actually. I kind of like it. At first, it was a bit of a surprise because I think I was expecting a lot more crisp reproductions, but on flipping through it, I do enjoy this, the quality of this paper and everything about it. So that was, did I show the front cover there? Creepy Worlds. So those were the two UK books that I got. One of the things that I had pointed out to Greg the first time I was through was the Fantomas books that he had. I've always wanted to check some of them out. I've never seen them around, only seen kind of images online. Um, so really excited to have been able to pick up a few of these. He had a few more, but they were in really rough shape. So I wanted to, I don't know, I picked up the three that looked like that they were in the best shape. So these are kind of small digest size magazines. So there you go. So there's a regular comic, and there's the size of the digest. Let's see if we can line that up a little better. So there you go. Gives you a sense of how big these digests are. Now that said, these are chock full of goodness. These are incredible. Um, First of all, the kind of Hitlerish character. I swear there's not a theme throughout these books here. The Hitlerish character who, with a sleeveless top, slightly unzipped, ready to just go out dancing. And I love the Fantomas lettering at the top there as well too. We get some ads for what looks like a weight loss machine, and uh, I don't know. Is it an ad for a blow up doll or something? I don't quite know what's going on there with King. But this one has some really great art. He did some research online. He says that this is from 1979. So he did, and I said, because I was asking him, how did you find out about these books? Like, where did you find out any information on them? And he said he kind of hit eBay, places like that, to see if there was any listings of things to kind of get a general sense of pricing. And I said, did you find any information online? He said there wasn't really anything, which surprises me. There's got to be some databases out there or some books on this kind of stuff. I have a feeling just the looking that he did was just to get a sense of what kind of price tag to put on it. And that was kind of part of what I was worried about when he'd had none of them priced. In the back of my head, I thought, oh my God, each of these are going to be like $8 or $10 a pop kind of thing. So I was pleasantly surprised that that wasn't the case, that they came back all at kind of $2, $3, plus the extra little bit of a discount that he was nice enough to give me. Great image there. There's another one here where we get introduced, maybe not introduced, but we do run into a love interest. And look at the colors on that page there. Look at this here. Again, it looks like it's just sitting right on top of that page. I really, really like that, the quality of those colors. And then here we get an unreal image right here. This is, to me, it just looks like it's lifted. I wish I should have pulled out Mean Bitch Thrills from Spain, Rodriguez. This looks like it's lifted right out of a Spain Rodriguez. It's very similar to his inking style. Definitely kind of the perspective. It almost looks like she's leaning backwards a bit, like we're seeing her from low down, but also on a bit of a tilt. There's some interesting perspective going on there, but that is an incredible, incredible image. Love that. Love the looks of that line. Get treats to some advertisements for other comics out there, Tom and Jerry. A Boom Crack. And then back page, the usual. Nowhere are you allowed to kick sand in someone's face. So that's Phantomas, and I grabbed a couple of more of those. I won't flip through each one. This one is a great cover here. This one also 1979. And then this one he had at 1985. The art style in this one is quite a bit different than those first two, and to my eyes, nowhere near as interesting. Still doesn't look horrible, but I prefer the art in the other ones. And let me just double check. I don't believe there's any sort of credits page on a title sequence or anything. No, but we do get Phantomas in a cape. And then this interesting inside cover mini poster here, which continues there. So here's a taste of the style in here. A little bit more. It looks 80s to me, that's for damn sure. Like I said, not as interesting as the other stuff visually, but still not horrible. This one is filled with arrows. There was a few pages where on kind of both pages there's arrows telling you which way to read. I mean, you know, that's a fairly big fail. Now, of course, I can't find the exact. There was one in particular. Here's one of them right here, filled with arrows. Failure in storytelling for sure there, or maybe not. Okay, I'm exaggerating. Filled with arrows. There's two. Settle down, T. Fuller. Settle down. Anyway, out on the beach. What's the point filling in his face? Doesn't matter, you know. Don't give it even that's like some nice character there at least, but that one is someone just said fuck it, deadline. So there you go. Really great to have a few of those in my collection now. And then we move to Malaysia. A few books from Malaysia, including this one. It's in really rough shape. What year does he have? He has 1973 on this one. Very cool cover, though. It was the only kind of digest sized Malaysian book there, so I grabbed it, even though you could see the rusty staples and everything was just falling apart. I had to grab it just to give a taste, just to get a taste of what it was. And then one of the pages I opened to was this one, some sort of spirit. Love the look of that page quite a bit. The art style in this one is crude-ish, I guess, but still does pretty well. You know, you're getting 1 or 2 panels per page as you go through, and it's totally falling apart, but that's okay. Again, it was more just to get a taste of some of these comics, you know. Yeah, it really makes me wish I would have gone in last weekend when he maybe had a little bit more, or at least checked in every weekend just to see what he had. I mean, I totally get it. If you're running a business and you have people with want lists, you want to make sure that you fulfill those want lists. Absolutely, because these are people that guaranteed money. These are things that they want. They're not messing around. But part of me, I admit, I did feel a little like a little bit clamped when I found out that they left the city. Part of me was like, I should have stayed in the city. But the thing is, now he knows what kind of stuff he was saying that he was surprised how popular all this stuff was. He had a number of people come through and buy things from him. So I think that took him by surprise. So hopefully that's incentive enough that he keeps his eyes out for anything else. This one, I kind of like this stuff here. I like the style of this. When I was looking through this, as I often do when I'm looking through comics, I'm looking for the cracks and I'm looking for the sound effects. This one, man, I almost want to start a dub project just to steal some of those images for the liner notes or the front cover. Really, really fantastic image. There's quite a few dub shots in here. See if I can find another one for you. Yeah, here you go. This one up here. Dub. Really great lettering. I like the lettering in this one. And I think there's, yeah, here we go, a couple more here. These 2 panels there. Those just scream out to be used for some album art. White out the wording here and put your own text in there, song titles or whatever. Would be fantastic. Just begging for it. Anyway, so there you go. There's another Malaysian book. Love that cover. And then the last Malaysian book, the front cover is the best thing about it. The interior art is pretty rough. I don't like it as much, but I love that cover. Looks almost like an old kind of exploitation movie poster. Really, really great. And then finally, I don't know if they're all from Hong Kong. He doesn't say on the back, but all of these I believe are from the 80s, and I love these. There was the company Jade Man. Here's a kind of landscape style print. So what do we got on this one? Size wise, we're dealing with, again, there's your regular comic. So this is a little bit bigger than a regular old comic there, just to give you a bit of perspective. Flipping through these, the art and the coloring in these really have blown me away. I spent a good while kind of pouring through these and going page by page. I posted quite a few photos of this stuff. There's something about what I was saying though was the art style and the coloring and everything about these really remind me of the stuff that that company Jade Man was reproducing for an American audience, which I see those Jade Man comics pop up everywhere. They're not hard to find. I think I had some at one point, and I got rid of them because I wasn't really, as much as I was liking the artwork. I wasn't really getting into reading them. I would just flip through them every once in a while. So one of the cleanses, they didn't make the cut and they left the building. But all of this stuff reminds me of what I remember Jade Man comics looking like. The coloring, just the character design, the art itself. There's something very malleable about these characters. It almost feels like you could get your hands in there and reconstruct their faces, and lots of great shots of hands as well throughout all of these last handful of comics. Let's see, there was a couple of pages. See if I can find. There was one really great one in here. Well, take that back. There's a lot of really great ones in here, but there's one specifically that stood out to me as a real solid image. Let's see here. Yeah, here we go. There it is. This page over here. Love it. Absolutely love it. Just the energy on each page. It's just fucking mind-blowing. And there was a couple, might be in the next one. Even some of these movements, getting these kind of action lines of how their hands are moving, getting action lines all over the place, and the way those action lines kind of interact with the page itself really just gives the whole page, it feels like that whole page is kind of churning and moving, you know what I mean? So it's impressive. It's really, really impressive work. Almost makes me want to pick up a couple of those Jade Man again just to have a look inside. Also makes me want to go back and see what else he had. Like this. We won't go through this one either. It's falling apart, and the art is pretty. Yeah, it's unexceptional. The cover is very cool, but the interior art looks like this one is more of kind of a dramatic series. There's no action. It's a lot of talking heads. But there you go. There's that. Another amazing cover. Look at that facial expression. There's a series, Bakuni Young, that I have on my shelf, and there's a lot of that kind of facial features in that series. There's a lot of people that are making those kind of expressions, and same kind of plasticine looking faces as well too. Not hyper realistic isn't the word, but almost surreal in the way that they look. This one might be the one that there's one page in particular. Oh man, yeah. I mean, look at this. Look at this shit. It's unfucking believable, man. I love it. I love these pages. That gold kind of rings really pop as well too. Really amazing stuff. Yeah, I mean, this page itself, you get these kind of curved lines here. You have circles here. You have some action lines creating a circle there. Some diagonal cuts at the top corners. So if you just try to focus on those movement lines, it really creates a nice other layer on top of everything that's going on the page already. Amazing stuff. Sorry, excuse me. Here we go. We'll have a look a bit more of this guy's fight. Yeah, beautiful. Love these books. I mean, I love them all, but I think I spent the most time on Phantomas, and then these just impressed the hell out of me. And then finally, another killer cover. Again, as soon as I saw the cover, out of the box it came. And he has this one as 80s as well. I think, like I said, I think all of these were 80s. So I may just go back for more of these. Quick look. Don't think there was anything specific in this one that really jumped out at me. Again, not that it's horrible or anything, but thinking back, there wasn't a page that I really wanted to show off, so we'll just give you a sense of what's going on there. Oh, actually, there may have been one image now that I'm thinking about it. The introduction of some of the, I'm guessing, villains, I thought was pretty cool. Yeah, the background coloring to some of this stuff and just the line work, like the crazy rainbow colors there. Yeah, here we go. This one here. I like the looks of that. Some kind of vampire bat looking dude. But I love these kind of red lines coming out. Yeah, the way they sit on the page and sit over top of the image, you do get a sense of depth. That lettering is way up in the foreground, and then they're way in the background. Yeah, like that page a lot, or that panel rather. There you go. There's a taste of the final page. There you go. Preview of coming issues, I assume. So that was a particularly fun little haul that, yeah, really, really fun. So those will fit nicely in some of the boxes, especially with the books that our friend Earl Grey sent all those years ago, some German books. Those will fit nicely in there. Fantastic. I hope he's able to find some more. I hope he's able to kind of restock. I would love to have another opportunity to get my hands on some of those horror, the Mexican horror books. They looked incredible. I'm glad, like I said, I'm glad I got some photos of them. That's it. That's all. There was nothing else to show you or talk about. No, that was it. Thanks very much, everybody. And we'll talk to you.